Are you an overwhelmed SaaS founder ready to make the leap from leading a team to leading an organization? Join us each week as we refill your think tank with actionable tips and strategies from great business minds you know and those you don't know yet. This is SaaS Fuel with your host, 5-time entrepreneur, SaaS founder, and globetrotting adventurer, Jeff Maines.
Welcome back to the SaaS Fuel podcast, where bringing energy back to work isn't about another motivational poster. It's about remembering your why, reclaiming your spark, and finally stopping your calendar from stealing your soul. Have you ever felt that way? I'm your host, Jeff Maines. I help B2B SaaS founders like you grow from traction to scale. Here, growth is more than just numbers. It's about crafting a future-proof company, premium valuation, and leaders who build a business of significance while living epic, adventurous lives. When was the last time you actually enjoyed work, like genuinely looked forward to it, instead of just surviving the day with caffeine and calendar reminders? If you lead in a team right now, that question isn't fluffy. It's a growth issue. Because when people stop caring, performance doesn't crash loudly. It quietly leaks out through missed details, slower execution, and good enough energy. In this episode, we dig into why engagement is tanking and why it's worse than most leaders realize, especially in a world where work lives in Slack threads and Zoom boxes and never-ending mental tabs. You'll hear a refreshingly practical approach to rebuilding energy, motivation, and momentum, starting with purpose that isn't about hitting numbers, but about serving people in a way that makes the grind feel worth it. What it means to actually be present again, listening to understand, not just reply, and why attention has become one of the rarest leadership skills in the room. You'll also hear why gratitude isn't cheesy, it's strategic, and how embracing perfection can make teams healthier, more resilient, and even more human. And yes, of course, we're going to go there, the power of fun, not as forced culture stuff, but as the kind of psychological safety that helps people raise their hand, ask for help, and face hard moments without spiraling. If you're tired of managing burnout, disengagement, or that heavy feeling that everyone's just pushing through, this episode might be the reset your team and your leadership has been needing. Let's dive in. Our founder on Tuesday was Alex Berkovic, co-founder and CEO of Sphinx. He took us inside the high-stakes world of financial compliance and the rise of AI agents. He explained why anti-money laundering and know your customer workflows are overloaded with false positives and how manual reviews create massive bottlenecks. And of course, why Copilot mode automation builds trust in regulated environments. It was really a practical blueprint for using AI to reduce operational drag without compromising accuracy. Very interesting if you're in a regulated industry for sure. And our expert guest last week was Marlena Saranek, co-founder of the company Advice. She broke down what it really takes to turn complex products into brands the market actually remembers. She shared why great products don't sell themselves, how founders can clarify positioning, and how playbook-driven messaging builds trust way before the first sales call. It was a grounded episode for anyone who wants traction, not just noise. If you missed either of those episodes, go back and give them a listen. My guest today is Martin Lesperance, an educator turned engagement specialist on an epic quest to help people fall back in love with their work. Martin is an interactive keynote speaker, workshop facilitator who delivers more than 80 events per year, and his style is exactly what you'd expect. 50% humor, 50% energy, 100% emotion. Yeah, he's inspired professionals across 20 countries, won International Speaker of the Year at Speaker Slam, and delivered a TEDx talk titled The Wrong Thing to Look For in a Great Job. That alone has already racked up tens of thousands of views. Martin's background is as unconventional as his delivery. Artistic gymnastics coach, soldier medic in the Canadian Armed Forces Reserve, high school science teacher, government advisor, and national training leader across major organizations. He's also the author of this book called Inspire. We're going to talk about it today and the 4 not so surprising secrets. Welcome someone who doesn't just motivate people, he moves them to action. Martin Lesperance. Hey, Martin, welcome to SaaS Fuel.
Oh, well, thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be with you today. Looking forward to our discussion.
I am as well. I'm fascinated by the whole topic today. And this is probably a good place to start. How did a yellow smiley ball become the symbol for your entire movement?
It's interesting. Well, we must realize that. Have you ever realized that someone can cross your path during your day and change the course of your day for
Yes.
for good or for worse?
Yes, that is true.
Yeah. So, and the idea is, so that means that everybody that crosses our path, we have the power to influence their day for good or for worse. So, what is it going to be? Are you going to walk around with this black ball of energy, stress, anxiety, frustration, sadness, don't feel like it? Or, and maybe it's some of the people that are listening right now that have this black ball of energy 365 days a year. If ever that's the case, Jeff, I'm sure that there are people around you that are just waiting to sit down and talk it over.
Yes.
But
That's so
probably
good.
you and I, and probably most of the people listening to your audience, they're more of the yellow, the yellow smiley that we use when we send some SMS. They're more of the smiley one like this. But on a daily basis, people will hand us some black balls of energy. So what are you going to do? Are you going to walk around with the black one, or are you going to walk around with this one? And to me, Jeff, I think it's a question of choice. You get to decide. And some people, sometimes at the end of my keynote, at the end of my show, they come and see me and they say, sometimes, Martin, I don't have the choice. And I'm saying, look, wait. I'm not saying you're going to choose everything that goes in front of you in your adventure, but at least you can choose on how you face it. I mean,
Yes.
and we all have headwinds as CEOs, as founders, as leaders. Headwinds will be there. So, are you
Yes.
around with this black ball of energy or with this one? You, what do you think?
I think it is absolutely a choice. There aren't a whole lot of things that are within our control, but our choices absolutely are. And the type of energy we have or how we, what we let affect us is absolutely a choice. And I think for founders, it can be a little bit different maybe than other people, and that you may be handed all sorts of balls all day long.
Yeah,
So I mean, I was talking to somebody a few days ago, and he's like, it's more of a roller coaster than I ever expected because it's a high, I'm awesome, and then something happens, and oh, I'm terrible. This is an awful day, and then something good happens, and a client sends a note, they win a deal, and then so they're back up and then down and up and down,
yeah,
and he's like, this happens 20 times a day before lunch.
yeah,
I'm at a high and I'm ready to quit 20 times a day,
yeah.
and I can relate to that.
And Jeff, some people will add them up and pack them in, and at the end of the day, they will arrive at home, and all of a sudden, black balls are everywhere. So, what are you going to do? Um, um, you have to decide. You have to decide what you walk around with. You said it that there's not a lot of choice that we get to decide on that we control. Yet no one no one has the permission to choose your attitude. Only you do. Even though sometimes we might say, yeah, but they know exactly which button to press to make it happen. It's still you. It's still you, buddy. So you get to decide on how you're going to face it. So this is how this Inspire Ball came about. So then that's what I use when I meet organizations.
I love that.
Yeah.
And you've worked with all sorts of different organizations. I mean, just about every industry that I can even imagine, and even a few that I had no idea existed. I mean, hydropower techs, sonographers, sales pros, janitors. I mean, it really covers just about every industry. What is the universal thread when it
Yeah.
comes to disengagement?
I
What is it that people are missing in work?
and well, my goal, Jeff, is to help leaders. And when I say leaders, nothing to do with what is on your title or on your business card. To me, Jeff, a leader is someone who will decide to take care of the person on the right and person on the left and will decide to go forward. And so I help leaders um, inspire their teams and the people around them to fall back in love with their job. There is a trend right now, and I'm sure you've heard it before. A job is just a job. Or I do it for the money and I do it to pay the bills. And between you and I'm in for that. We all need to live and we all need to pay the bills and pay bring food on the table. But please be serious. It can't only be for the money. If not, maybe you could cross the street and make a couple of bucks more. So there must be something more than that. So and when I inspire the teams to step up, I use what I call four not so surprising secrets for them to be engaged and to fall back in love with their job, because right now engagement scores across organizations all over North America, Jeff, are at an all-time low. They're lower than during the pandemic. It's unreal. So and it's about three people out of 10 that are actively engaged in their job. 3 out of 10. So that means that
Wow.
7 out of 10 are some are actively disengaged, and they park backwards when they get into the parking lot, not for safety reason, just to get the heck out of there faster at the end of the day. So some are actively disengaged, and there's a chunk in the middle that are doing what needs to be done to stay under the radar because they need something to pay the bills. I'm there to spark things up, to light the fire within these people, within their hearts, so that they realize that, you know what? Between you and I, Jeff, we spend about what 70% of our awakened hours we spend in our work mode. Prepare for work, go to work. We are come back, and even at night, the hamster is still going. So if you're if you're doing something for 70% of the time, can you at least not not even like it, love it? There must
Mm.
be something out there that you can love and that you can do. And that's why I carry around four not so surprising secrets to let yourself be inspired and become inspiring.
Let's walk through those and why each one matters now more than ever. Four not so surprising secrets. I love the title. What's the first one?
Yeah, and just to before jumping on the first one, you know why I call them not so surprising secrets? It's because
Why is that?
they're sort of simple. Nobody said everything needs to be complicated, and sometimes it's very complicated to make it easy, and it's very easy to make it complicated. So they're not
That is true.
surprising secrets or common sense. You will see. And what I find that when things are simple, we can repeat them. And when we repeat something, it becomes a habit. And at some point, a habit, it becomes part of our identity, Jeff. So that's why they're not so surprising. And the first one is as soon as you realize that you are there to serve others, not yourself, your mindset will change, and that relates to your why, your purpose. And a why is not pointing inward. What points inward is your passions. I don't know what are your passions, Jeff, but my passions, I'm all about sports, reading, and golden doodles. I love golden doodles. But I mean, people around me, they have nothing to care for my passions. But my why, my purpose is I am here to serve others. And I'm telling you, as soon as people in their organizations realize that they are there to serve their colleagues, serve the other department, serve their customers, serve the person that is at the end of that mission, as soon as people realize that, something happens, a shift happens where it's all worth it. It makes sense. It's worth the sacrifice. So, this is the not so surprising secret. It's to actually live your why, your purpose.
That's good. How do you help somebody find that why when they've
Uh,
lost it or maybe they never knew it to start with?
that's a good question because I'm telling you, Jeff, right now, I walk around into organizations. There is a mission somewhere inside the organization. Sometimes it's written on the wall. Sometimes it's on their website. Sometimes it's in a drawer somewhere because a consultant came in and designed their why for them or their mission and values and so on. And yet nobody knows it and nobody breathe it on a daily basis. And I'm able to sit down with organizations where we look at who we serve, how we serve them, and what makes us proud. You know, what makes you proud on a daily basis to get in the car, drive to work, be there, do your mission, and at the end of the day, you get back in your car and you have that feeling of fulfillment where you say, you know what? Today I made a difference. I mean, not I made a difference in my bank account, but I made a difference for someone out there. I don't know what it is that exactly you do out there, but as soon as you realize that you are there to serve others, that's when it happens. So we do go through with some organizations out there that have no why, no purpose, or that their why is pointing inward. We do an exercise and we have them point it outward, and all of a sudden they realize that, whoa, unreal. We thought we were there to make money, close the end of the month and meet the objective, but that's not it.
Right.
That's not it at all. We're there to serve patients, clients out there. That's when it makes sense.
Hmm. Yeah, that is really, really good. You said that most people don't leave jobs; they leave energy. What does it actually look like when somebody starts showing up with a black ball instead of a yellow one?
Yeah, well, and we've all seen people around us wherever in the org chart, by the way, that when they arrive into work, either they they have nothing to their hand is not going up if ever we need people. They will do what is the minimum. They will even there are people out there who are right now toxic in their work environment. They're not aware of it, or maybe they are to some point. But we need to have them realize that life is way better, not for us, but for them. That life is way better lived when you are on the good side of the force versus the dark side of the force with Darth Vader and all. I mean, on the good side of the force, we have Princess Leia, Han Solo, we have these Ewoks, these little teddy bears. So as soon as people out there realize that, they all of a sudden they realize that, you know what? Maybe I should be on the good side of the force and come in and be engaged. And you know what? At some point, I've had organizations come and see me and say, call me the week after the event and say, you know what, Martin, we just wanted to say that someone just left the building. One of our directors left the building. They quit. And I said, I am so sorry. That is not the objective of the keynote. My objective is for them to fall. They said, no, 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 no. Stop right now. We want to thank you for making this happen. That person was not happy, was not engaged. We could feel it, but at some point, everybody has a choice in life, and they made a choice. And you know what, Jeff? I've also had the opposite, where right before the meeting, a huge manufacturing, they're building high end cabinetry. VP of operation just signed their resignation paper, right? They want to resign. So they hand it in. VP of HR comes to see me before the show and says, just so you know, there is something happening in the room because everybody just learned that the VP of operations is leaving. I'm like, okay, let's do the show. And they said, just do what you got to do. So I do. And at the end of the show, VP HR comes to see me with the president. They're walking towards me, and I'm like, "Oh no, no, no! What's happening? What's happening?" And they lean in and they say, "We would like to thank you." I said, "For what?" They said, "VP of operations just came to see us and said, can you rip my resignation paper? I don't want to resign anymore. I want to stay here. I've realized that." With these four not so surprising secrets, I can. This is the place to be. This is where I belong. It's with them.
That's great.
I mean, president of the organization said, just this that just happened, this just paid for your two keynotes, your flight, your hotel. This paid for everything. So at some point,
Awesome.
either you fall back in love with your job or fall in love with another job. That is fine. But at some point, make a choice. And
Yeah.
that often is related to why you do what you do. Then this is the first not so surprising secret, but there are three more.
Yeah, live your why. I love that. Turning the daily grind into meaningful mission.
Exactly.
What is the second one?
The second one is we've all seen people that are stuck in the past. You know, back in my days, this is how we used to do it. And some people are stuck in the future where we don't know what is going to happen. So, and then they develop anxiety for it and they say, maybe we just
Yeah.
should press pause. And when we are right now in the moment, we are in the present. And there is no better present than you can give people around you and yourself, but to be present. It's a gift. I mean, being present is a gift. And this is the second one. The second not so surprising secret is to actually be here in the moment with what is happening,
Good.
with what you know right now. And we are going to make the best decision with what we know. And there is a destructive tool right now that is not really helping us be in the moment. And it's all these smartphones everywhere where we are with colleagues, with sometimes even with friends, with customers, and we have this in our hand, and this can destroy. I mean, I don't know if your listeners have had that, Jeff, but sometimes this even happens at home where someone says, "Hey, I'm talking to you," and you're like, "Yeah, yeah, I'm here, I'm here." No, you're not. But to be present in the moment now and truly listen. I mean, we've all heard that most of the people out there, when they listen to others, it's not truly to understand, but it's to respond. So my take is everyone around us, including you and I, we all want to be understood. So you know what? When we listen to others, it's not just to hear, not just to understand, but to have them feel understood, because the only person that can judge right now if you are truly here present, it's not you, it's the person that is right in front of you. And that goes a long way. I mean, in meetings and instead, remember the days, Jeff, when we used to say no laptops in meetings? Remember that?
Yeah,
Close your laptops. And now, who cares? Everyone is under the table. I'm on Marketplace,
exactly.
furniture. So at some point, you need to be here in the moment with the people that are there and make the decisions that are there to right now.
Are you missing key relationships that could transform your leadership? Most leaders are. They just can't see it. And here's what shocked me: the most successful leaders aren't lone heroes. They're the center of four specific relationships that multiply their impact while preserving their sanity. You're probably like everybody else, drowning in connections, but starving for real support. And it's creating a silent epidemic of leadership burnout among executives just like you. So, take my free assessment at thecaptainskeys.com. Discover which critical relationships you're missing in under 5 minutes, and then grab my new book, The Captain's Keys, part Netflix drama, part game changing blueprint for leadership that actually sustains you. One CEO called it the owner's manual I never got. So stop flying blind and see what you're missing.
And that's the second not so surprising secret.
That's a big one. And I think that's one of those things that is also reciprocal is when you do that, then other people around you are a lot more engaged when you put the devices down and you really focus in on them and not just act interested, but be interested,
Yeah.
pay attention and actually listen, not just to respond, but you know, to actually hear what's being said and sometimes what's not being said.
I love
And I think that is reciprocal as well. Because when you give it, you get it back.
For sure. There are a lot of the not so surprising secrets have a boomerang effect. What I call is the more you throw it out there, the more it comes back to you. And I'm not saying to do it to get it back, but it has a huge boomerang effect. The more you are interested, the more you become interesting because you actually know what is happening. So yeah, to be present in the moment now. And I'm sure that our listeners, your listeners right now, I'm sure that in your heart right now, you know of a name and you could write down the name of someone around you that deserves you to be more present, because I am
Sure.
convinced that you are worth it. You are worth the presence. And I know that somewhere around you, someone deserves more of you. And if you look at just a bit in your heart, you could write down that name right now.
That's good. Yeah, I'm sure everybody can do that.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a good exercise. What is the third not so obvious secret?
Interesting. No, not too long ago, I go to a breakfast restaurant with my son, Justin, and we arrive. And up here in Canada, we have two sets of door at the entrance because it's cold outside. We have snow. So I open up the first door and I tell my son Justin, go in. So he goes in, and as want to walk in, there's the bus of people that are walking out the restaurant. So one after the other. So I'm holding the door. If ever you're looking for me during weekends, Jeff, I'm holding the door at the restaurant. So out of 10 people that came out, Jeff, how many do you think either gave me a smile or a thank you? Out of 10, throw your number.
We'll say 2. In the South, I'd say 5.
Interesting. Actually, one person gave me a smile or offered me a smile, and I turned around and I said, "You know what? This is not why I was doing it, but your smile is warming my heart right now." And this gentleman, belly full of pancakes or waffles, I don't know what, he's walking away and he's all smiling, and we just made our day to one another. And I turned around, but you should have seen the other 9 that were in line. that heard us talk, they were like, gonna say thank you for you were just holding the door and so on. And I was like, what is happening to our world? Seriously, what is happening? Shouldn't it be part of, the all-inclusive bracelet that we get when we go to an all-inclusive resort down south? I mean,
Yes.
it's and so the third not so surprising secret is to actually be grateful. I mean, gratitude is
So
an
good.
attitude. And I think we forget these little things. Well, maybe it's because of the speed that we're sometimes of growth, the speed of objectives going. We meet a milestone, and there's no time for celebration. We need to hit the other one. Give yourself a mini break of gratitude. It's worth so much. So being grateful is the third not so surprising secret. And funny enough, Jeff, I could ask you a tricky question. Watch out, because who do
Yeah.
you speak to the most in a day, Jeff? Who do you speak to?
Um, it would probably either be my wife or teammates at work.
Yeah. So, and your wife and teammates are very lucky that you talk to them all day long. And yet, Jeff, I am convinced, and some of the people listening right now, we are convinced that there's someone that you talk to more than your wife and teammates. And this,
Oh, you're right. Probably myself.
ah, yeah. Do you talk to yourself sometimes, Jeff?
Of course, but it's okay as long as they don't answer me back.
I thought you were going to say there are plenty of people up there. So, so yeah, and most of the people out there, I actually, you know what? I mean, this story I've told so many thousands of people from 20 countries so far, and all of the people talk to themselves in there, so in their head. So, I mean, if you are as creative as I am, you always throw yourself flowers, right? Is it always positive
Interesting. Tell me
in
more
there?
about that.
Is it always positive in there?
Oh, of course not.
Uh,
No, the worst critic in the world lives inside this head.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah.
And I think that, when we say gratitude is an attitude and to be grateful, I think it needs to start with us as leaders,
That's good.
as founders, as CEOs, as people that are listening right now. Nobody said it was going to work the first time. Nobody said, just like in the song from Coldplay, nobody said it was easy. No, nobody said it was going to be easy. Nobody said we need to have the answer all the time. Nobody said we always need to be right, which we sometimes struggle with. Nobody said we always need to find a solution to everything. So give yourself a break. Nobody is perfect. And we hear that sometimes. Maybe we are close to perfection. Maybe we're just a notch down from perfection. And we get to deal with people that are a bit further down from perfection sometimes, in our view. But there's even a trick when we get there, and it's called Wabi-Sabi. It's a Japanese mindset where you find beauty in imperfection. I mean, the reason why I think my wife and I are so in love is because she loves my imperfections and I love hers. And this is why we fit so good together. And I think that we tend to forget that when we are with colleagues with business in business, is that not everybody does it the same way we do. Nobody.
Right.
But that's what makes it beautiful in this age right now where AI is here, there, and everywhere, where, I mean, human skills, us, imperfection, it will soon have a premium price. Built by human, designed by human, I think will have a premium price. And that comes with the fact that as we age, as just like a good wine, we mature, and we there is beauty in imperfection. And we need to remind ourselves of that and be grateful every day of being up here. Um, I have some good friends of mine that are right now, that are somewhere, maybe looking over us right now, Jeff. So we need to be grateful of that, grateful with our, of course, the people around us, ourselves, and wabi-sabi. Find beauty in imperfection. There, I think this goes a long way. So that's the third not so surprising secret: to be grateful.
That is a really, really good one. And it doesn't cost anything.
Completely.
And it's just that's it. Again, it's that choice that we make.
Yeah.
And and no matter what's going on, even when things go bad, is this a learning opportunity? Can I be grateful that I have this opportunity?
Yeah.
And be grateful that it wasn't worse. Where is the good? Where's the opportunity
Right on.
in the challenge?
Bravo. I love that. And this is, so that's why it made it into my third not so surprising secret.
So what's number 4?
I think it's my favorite, yet there are only 4. So I there are 4 favorites. But we hear that all the time. Life is short and time flies. So can we at least have fun while we're doing what we're doing? And I'm saying, let's have fun. Let's enjoy what we do. And I know we're doing serious things, but can we do them with a smile, with joy? And I'm not saying we put the nose of a clown and we get on the bus and we tour the comedy clubs out there. But if ever you feel like it, the bus is leaving. No, but the idea is, can we at least have fun? And that comes with the attitude that we talked about up front, Jeff, where we need to remind ourselves that, you know what? If the headwind is there, you have 2 choices. Either you face that headwind on the dark side of the force, or you face that headwind with a smile and in the fact that let's do this together. We've gone through storms before. We will get through it. So let's play. And as soon as you create this environment, Jeff, where people have fun around you, all of a sudden they feel safe. And when we feel safe, we will be able to raise our hand and say, I'm not sure how to do this. I'm not sure I can do this, or I dropped the ball on this one. And this will only happen when people feel safe and when they are in an environment where fun is allowed.
That is really, really important. I think that's something that's maybe a little bit lost in most workplaces, is the fun aspect.
Yeah. And the fun aspect, Jeff, is not jeans on Friday. Seriously. That's maybe how it started a couple of years ago. But fun is a mindset, is the fact that let's all build forward and let's all enjoy ourselves and take what we're doing seriously, but not take ourselves so seriously. And so that means that it's okay to have jokes and so on, and to have a smile, and to sometimes fail. And as you said before, sometimes when you face difficult situations, that's how you grow. When we go on a trip or on vacation and something happens, this is what we end up telling our friends and family. So let's have fun in doing that. And I'm telling you, mindset will be that tomorrow I'm looking forward to coming back to work. So that's the fourth not so surprising secret: to have fun.
I think that's really important. And you think about any kind of role or job, you can do that and you can have fun.
Yeah.
That it's in literally anything. There was a book a number of years ago called Fish.
Yeah.
And it was about the fish market in Seattle. and that's like a destination. People go and watch this fish counter, and people throwing fish back and forth. And it's one of those
Yeah.
things that they're having fun. They're playing, just like you're saying. They love what they do.
Yeah.
There's a line of people that want to work there, and then you've got a bunch of people that are going and watching people at a fish market. Like, what?
Yeah.
This is entertainment?
And I think we can all do this in our workplaces. Whatever we do, whatever
Yes.
type of service that we build and that we provide to others, I mean, we can have fun doing it, because you can have the best product in the world out there, but if the people are disengaged, exhausted, or disconnected, I mean, forget about your growth. It won't happen. So forget about scaling. This won't happen. This will only happen if you put engagement first. Have an engaged team. I mean, you can face any storm out there, whatever the weather out there, we're going out there and we're going to make it work. So, and that comes with having a team that is fully engaged and using these four not so surprising secrets to stick together. Because that's what made us human beings live up to here. I mean, thousands and millions of years ago, when we used to live in tribes and so on, it's our capacity to create social links made us survive through all these years. So we need to remember, I think, and remember to be human again and live in tribes and connect with one another using these four not so surprising secrets, because right now we are so digitally connected but humanly disconnected, and we need.
Yes, absolutely true. So, how do you convince leaders who may be a little bit skeptical, especially high pressure industries, that fun, presence,
Yeah.
gratitude, they aren't soft, but they're strategic?
It's interesting because sometimes I go into organizations, and when we run the program, I remember a president that called me into his office and said, Martin, I would like you to inspire my team, engage them. And so I said, fine. First question, what is your why? Why do you do what you do? He said, well, we need to get money to the shareholders and so on. And so I said, okay. And you want me to convince your people to make money for you so that you can provide to the shareholders? He said, yeah. I said, okay, do you trust me? He said, yeah, that's why I'm paying you. So we meet with the team. I have them workshop at different tables, and I actually have them do an exercise on the why, finding their why, as we discussed before. And the people at the end, and I can probably tell you, it was a packaging industry. They're making bottles of different sorts. And so we asked the people to workshop, and at the end, we asked them, why do you do what you do? And I'm looking at the president, and he's looking at money for the shareholders. So, but the people in the teams, they stand up one after the other, different teams, and we came up with one sentence: is they make dreams come true. The president is looking at me and he's like, what is happening? I'm there. Wait, let's ask them. So we asked the team, why do you make dreams come true? Well, they said, you know what? When a startup calls us and they want to launch this new product out there in a new bottle, packaging is worth a lot, because on the shelf, sometimes product inside the bottle is sort of similar. But packaging
Right.
make the whole difference. So you know what? We provide them the best packaging and bottle and this and design. And sometimes we make dreams come true. So I turned back to the president and I say, there you go. And I said, do you have fun doing this? They said, we love doing this because I'm looking at the president. It's not me saying it. It's the team that are coming up with these things, because the beauty of the not so surprising secrets, as I told you up front, they're not so surprising. When we get back to the basics, we get to sometimes people tell me, Martin, it's too simple. I said, well, I'm sorry to say. It doesn't need to be complicated. We set it up front, but it doesn't need to be complicated. The easier it is to repeat, become a habit, and be part of the identity and the culture of the organization.
Yeah. How does that work if they're remote? I mean, because that's
Huh?
definitely something that's been a big change over the last few years, is a lot more remote employees. How does that engagement change, or how do you get that same type of engagement,
True.
um,
I mean,
remote versus in person?
it's remote is a huge challenge for engagement, for company culture. And a lot of organizations now are trying to bring their people back into the office, and the people are resisting. They're like, no, I like to work in sweatpants. Uh, and I get it. Yet at some point, if if we were able to bring them back into the office, I'm telling you, it's not the foosball and not free granola bars that will make it happen. This is for a couple out there. Um, but it's true engagement, it's true culture, it's true why do we do what we do, how we do it. Are we there in the moment? Are we present? Are we grateful of what we're doing? Do they feel gratitude and recognize when they come in the office? And are we actually having fun doing what we're doing? If on a remote basis, I mean, connection is completely different. And I know of some leaders that say, yeah, I connect with my team. I say, how often? And one-on-ones are sort of rare. Huddles are sort of rare. They are present in the super performing organizations. If ever you're doing one-on-ones on a weekly basis, if ever you're doing a weekly huddle with your whole team, you're in the top performing teams out there. That is for sure.
Wow.
And if on a daily basis you can ring the doorbell, the virtual doorbell of everyone on your team, then you're in the one, not even in the 1%. You're into the percentage of so people want their teams to be engaged in a remote area. You need to connect. You need to make it happen. And you need to put it on the agenda, because some people will say, yeah, it's we meet to talk about the different files or projects. I say, oh, where is it on your agenda? Where is it weekly? And they're like, yeah, well, you know what? You got to make it happen. You got to make it in the agenda on a weekly basis, at least a team huddle, a one-on-one, and on if on a daily basis, you need to ring the door. That's what you got to do.
Uh, well, let's end where we started.
Yeah.
If every listener carried one yellow ball
Yeah.
through their work week starting today, what's the single most important reminder you'd want it to represent?
Yeah. Well, I think this is a question of choice, Jeff. I, and sometimes that choice is easier than others. I'm with you. And even I mean, I run this keynote. I accompany, I inspire about 80 organizations per year. Um, Even I, when I run my show, it reminds me of these four not so surprising secrets. But I'm sort of living and breathing them on a daily basis. Um, it's always a question of choice. You get to decide what you walk around with. And this will have huge influence on you reaching your own objectives and all the people around you reaching their own objective. But you get to decide. It's a question of choice. Maybe it's too simple, but you know what? You decide. You try it and you see it. You'll see.
Like that. Well, where can people learn more about you online?
Well, if you look for Martin Lesperance on any platform, whether it's on the web or Facebook or LinkedIn, Instagram, you will find me. You you will find me and my yellow smiley ball. That's how you'll recognize me. I'm there to find, and let's connect. And if ever your team needs a good dose of inspiration or engagement, ring me up and let's team up, Jeff. And Jeff and I will come and team.
I love it.
Yeah.
Fantastic. It has been such a pleasure having you on, and I think very, very valuable. It's something that we can all take with us and remember, and carry in those yellow balls, not
Yeah.
the black ones.
Yeah.
Put those black balls down and carry and share the joy
True.
in the yellow balls. So, thank you for being on SAS Fuel. This is great.
Thank you, Jeff. And by the way, this is good for professional life and personal life as well.
Yes. Love it.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thanks again, Martin, for coming on the show and sharing your insights and resources. You can learn more about Martin and his work, including his book, Inspire, which you heard about today, at martinlesperance.ca. As always, all links, highlights, resources, and full show notes are available at sasfuel.com. And be sure to check us out on YouTube as well, at Champion Leadership. Lots of resources over there for you. You know, thought leaders share. Share this episode with the person who calls themselves a visionary, but can't explain the product in one sentence. Everyone who shares this week gets a clarity spray bottle. One spritz, and your messaging turns from redefining synergy to here's what we do and why it matters. I bet you there's some founders out there that could use that. Anybody know anybody like that? How do modern engineering teams ship, secure, and scale software without drowning in complexity? In our next episode, Michael Ferrante, enterprise technologist and product strategist, joins us to share lessons from the front lines of developer tools and cloud-native infrastructure, from Kubernetes storage to identity-first security and feature delivery at scale. Michael brings some rare clarity to how technical leaders build systems that last and do it really fast. Coming up, Barbara Whitman joins us to unpack the human OS behind modern SaaS execution. With 25 years of experience bridging business and IT, Barbara makes the case that in the AI area, wisdom isn't optional, it's survival, and it deserves a permanent seat in every IT budget. It's really fascinating. Have to check that out. I will see you next time. Remember, Valentine's Day is only 2 days away. So I will see you next time. And as always, enjoy the journey.
Thanks for listening to SAS Fuel. Full show notes for each episode, which includes a summary, key takeaways, quotes, and any resources mentioned, are available at sasfuel.com. Be sure to follow and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. And if you're enjoying the content and getting value from these episodes, please leave us a rating and review at ratethispodcast.com/sasfuel. We'll be sure to read these out on future episodes.